Come, Skywalker. The Force I will train you in. Jedi you will become. Swing through trees. Lift rocks with our minds with the Force. But how am I supposed to train in this Luke X-Wing pilot outfit? Can I even make an outfit? The Luke and Dagobah training? Question is interesting, it is. Pancho, you seek Pancho's toy box. Who's Pancho's toy box? Vintage toy collector he is. Figures of custom makes he will does. Custom figure he will make of Luke and Dagobah training.
Okay, so welcome back to the toy box. I've got the itch again to make a vintage Star Wars custom figure. So in the screen in front of us here, we've got two characters that I've made previously over the past few years. So we've got Slave Leia here from Return of the Jedi, and we've got Garen down a long sleeve from Star Wars. So these figures here have been cobbled together using broken vintage Star Wars figures. So I have loose limbs, heavy paintwear, chewed, broken, whatever, not display worthy, not collector worthy, well played with heavy beaters. And yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from my box of broken Star Wars figures, see what inspiration I can find. Okay, so here's my box of broken Star Wars figures. Got a few ideas. This is the main culprit, I think, on this occasion. So this is Luke in his Bespin outfit, and I think I'm going to use the head off that and make it into a Luke in Dagobah training figure. Yeah, it's got a fair bit of pink paint embedded into the face. It's kind of leached into it, so that's going to need some sort of chemicals to get rid of that. Okay, so take the head off some Star Wars figures. You should just twist it off. There you go. You're left with a peg like that. But I'm not going to use that at the moment. But I do want the head for my Luke Dagobah figure. Going to paint the hair brown, like it is on modern Luke Dagobah action figures, but first of all I do need to get rid of the ink off this vessel. It's leached into the plastic, so to get pen ink or whatever it is, some sort of paint that's been leached into the plastic, and we need to use a chemical called benzoyl peroxide, I think it's called. Yeah, so I'm going to dab a bit of that in the warm sun for a couple of days, and hopefully that ink would have come out. Right now, so I found some bits to make my figure. So on the left here we have the remains of a modern Kyle Terminator figure from Super 7 Reaction Series. They make 3 3/4 inch vintage looking style figures. So the reason why I've chosen this is because it's got flesh arms. There aren't many figures that have flesh arms, and we don't want them to look too muscly. Just these are nice. You need to get rid of that detailing off there and off the shoulders, and that's some nice flesh arms. I'm also going to keep the torso shirt as well. That's got a nice detailing, very similar to how it is in Luke on Dagobah. Obviously it's going to need a different paint scheme, so that's going to be placed on top of this figure there. So this is a remains of a vintage 880 ST driver. So the good thing about this figure is that it has a pockets on its trousers like Luke has on Dagobah. Yeah, so that can go on top of there. And the head off the Luke Bespin is going to go on top of it. This is all having hydrogen peroxide treatment to get rid of the ink stain. That should be really gone by now. And also need to remove this neck post and put it put it inside there so the head can go on top of there. At this moment in time, this, when it's on there, there's quite a bit of a gap there, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that off there, have this bit remaining, so all that will be remaining. I'm just going to cut that there and place that on top of there like so. That's the plan anyway. Right then, so I cut the torsos in half using this little junior hacksaw here. Yeah, so we're not using these bits. I'm not using these bits. So that is eventually going to be fastened onto that. But first of all, we need to sand all this, make it nice and flat, and get rid of the excess plastic. Right then, so this has all been smoothed and sanded, so it's nice and flat, so it will sit on top of there and glue into place quite nicely. This though, when I did do that, it was sticking out quite a lot over the main body. So what I've had to do done is, where this is split in two, I've to do a lot of sanding and cutting just to make the width of the bottom of the ATST driver torso thinner, so when it does sit you on top of there, it is not sticking out, because it was sticking out before I started adjusting it. So the next bit to do now is to take the detailing off these arms. So I've got to get some sandpaper, get rid of this. Okay, so got the arms. So there we go. There's one arm down with the t-shirt detailing removed off that one. And this one here. So to get the results, to do that, like I said, I did use some sandpaper. And after I went off this with the sandpaper, I used a little smidgen of plastic weld on the bits where it was roughed up, and this kind of melts the plastic just a tiny bit, just a smidgen, just to get rid of that roughness and just give it a bit of smoothness. And then I went over the top of it with some acrylic satin varnish to give it a bit of shine, which it originally had before I started sanding it. So now I need to create a neck peg to go on top here. So what I'm going to do is going to utilise this part of the ATST driver's torso. So I'm going to take the peg out of here and insert it into this torso. Okay, so the neck peg is now in place. I'll show you what it looks like inside. So I cut it off and glued it in, put some putty just to give it support on that top bit there. Now the next thing to tackle is this lower pelvis area of the torso. So on here, on the ATST driver's bottom torso, it's got these like these little like uniform indentations here, this little line here and there. So I'm going to get some put, just going to cover those two lines up and make it more uniform with the creases. So I'll do that next. And then I'm going to cut these boots off the ATST driver's legs and replace them with some Hoth B-spin Luke boots, because all the other, if you look at any modern Luke Dagobah figure, they've all got the best spin boots, so a bit of a no-brainer to use these Nakate B-spin boots on that. So yeah, so I'm going to do the pelvis area with some put and attach those boots onto those legs. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so the legs are done. Took the boots off the B-spin Luke and attached them to the bottom. Put some filler around here to hide the cutting detail. Also add a bit of filler to the bottom of the shoe just to make it stand correctly, because the trouble is when you cut things up for figures and put them in place, they're not quite right, not right proportions, so sometimes you have to make a few adjustments. That bit's all filled in. Right, so the legs are now primed and ready to go. Look a bit different than before because the legs were 1 centimetre too long. I don't know why that was. It might be because I cut this middle bit of the torso and made the angle a bit different. So I had to cut 1 centimetre off the legs. So I had to do a lot of readjusting. And also I noticed on the other one before I primed it that there were no this sort of cuffs on the legs. It's like on this one here, as you can see, kind of the trousers like tucked into the boot, as is on the Dagobah pictures and other figures. So I had to create this sort of thing around here, so I put some sculpt over that and some super glue to give that effect. So yeah, it took a lot of work to get the legs like that, a lot harder than I thought. That's the thing when you're doing your own projects, customs, it's the journey, not the process, the journey that it takes you on. A little bit of update on the torso. I've decided to take the detailing off this bottom bit. I'm going to give it like a sort of belt sort of thing. See there. So that'll be a continuation of the paint scheme from that up until that. So in terms of the paint scheme, I've been looking at an applause figure, Luke and Dagobah from 1995. So I'm going colours similar to that. So the top is going to be this colour, which is Ouche Apathy Bone colour. The trousers are going to be this, Ogrin Camo. And the boots are going to be this, Bane Blade Brown. So that's the colour schemes I'm going for. Okay, so I've had 2 coats, so that doesn't need more painting now, apart from a bit of gloss when it's all finished. So what I need to do now is to attach that to the bottom of there. Okay, update. The top half of the torso has been glued to the bottom. I put some filler around the join line where I was glued, so it's got that one sort of continuous flow. The arms now in situ. The breaking point of the torso has been filled in with some filler. I need to put a little bit in there, but yeah. So it just needs to be painted. This needs to be painted. Obviously the legs need painting, and yeah, and we shall be set to go for the head assembly. You know, I've been looking at this. Obviously, it's not properly painted yet. It's just got a literal little bit of a coat going on. I need to do a lot more work to it. But you think I'm missing some detail in here, and you know, if you compare it to this Bespin guard here, it's got this line going down the crotch area. Yes, I need to etch in that in there, and I also need to put like a straight line here, like in the belt sort of thing. Because at the moment it looks pretty bad. It doesn't look right like that. So I need to etch in some detail into this lower torso area here. So I'm going to sand that and put some detail in. Okay, so I've sculpted a belt onto the figure. His trousers are quite high on his waist in the film, so I've incorporated that into the custom build. It's also on modern figures as well. The trousers are quite high. It's got like this belt area here, and you've got this second layer to the trousers with a curve on, so I'll put that on it, and I've etched in a crease line from the belt into the top bit trousers into the groinal area. Yep, so that's all set to go now. Hopefully I've had enough of fiddling about with it now. I think it's time to crack on and paint it. To sculpt the belt I use Milliput, which is a 2-part compound. I've used that before on various different projects and fixes. Yeah, so hopefully next time we see it, it'll be painted. Okay, so I thought he was getting there. You know, doing well the paint scheme on the figure. However, when I was looking at them lined up with the other 3.75" Empire Strasback line, I've noticed this upper torso is a bit long and the shoulders are higher than these, so I'm going to have to dress that. So I'm going to have to cut this in the middle here and take a couple of millimetres out. I wasn't going to take them out of the legs, but I don't want to do any more work on the legs. It took me ages to get the legs right. And also I've been looking at the flesh tone on the arms. It's quite pale on this reaction figure. Arms in comparison with this Luke Bespin here. So if we just do a comparison, it's very yeah. Now obviously this looks quite plasticky, and all the other Empire Strikes Back line have painted hands and what. So I am going to paint this in a flesh tone because it's too pale and it doesn't look right with the other figures. It sticks out a mile, so I am going to paint the arms. Okay, so it's been the torso's been remodified, shortened, and that is the same length as the other 3/4 and 3/4 inch figures from the line. I've repainted it. I've painted the arms a flesh colour that's more in line with the Star Wars figure, so it's quite similar to the colour of the flesh on that figure there, for example. Yeah, so the tone on the flesh is not more in line with the other Star Wars figures. I've also given it a satin varnish to give it a little bit of shine, so again it looks a bit more in line with the original line of figures. Yeah, so I think in terms of that part of the custom process is done. So now I need to work on the head. Now originally the head had some pink ink on the plastic. Well, that's been leached out now with some bentonol peroxide. It's had 2 doses in the sun, and yeah, it's been wrapped in this cellophane here for a fair few months. I say a few months, a few weeks. So I'm just going to wash it off now, and we'll see how it looks on its second dose of bentonol peroxide. Okay, so I've removed some of the bentonol peroxide off the face. Obviously it doesn't need a proper clean off, but as you can see, none of that pink ink residue is no longer on the face. So that's ready to be painted and put on top of the figure. I want to go for dark brown, like you find on modern Luke Dagobah training figures. Right, after doing a quick test, see if the head fits. It did, and it did rotate, but then I came to the conclusion that this neck is far too long and I need to cut it in half because it just doesn't looks too long next to the other figures. And when I took the head off, the neck peg that I made broke off inside, so lots more modifications. So I need to trim the neck in half and make a new neck post. Okay, so I've repaired the neck post. I've also trimmed a bit, so I do take the head on and off. It comes off a lot easier. Not that I want to take the head on and off, but it does go on a lot easier now. In hindsight, I should have tried the head earlier in the process rather than this late stage. But it's got I've fixed the neck post, and it's well inserted, and that is not going anywhere. It's rock solid since. I've tried the head since, took it off a few times, and it doesn't come off. So that is yeah, in really good shape now. Like I said, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I've also trimmed the neck because the neck was quite high. It was too high, it didn't look right, so I've trimmed this neck here. Took about, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of a centimetre off, so it does look a lot better now. And here's the head. So I've gone for a kind of a mulchy kind of brown colour. Actually, it's the same colour as the hair on the boots. I did initially try this oak brown paint, but it was far too dark. This one here, which I used to paint on the boots, which is Bane Blade Brown. Yeah, looks a lot better with that. So all I've got to do now is paint the eyebrows. So I've just finished doing the eyes on this. That's not too bad. Quite fiddly because it's very tiny lines. So I use that bit of black paint there, and the edge of that toothpick to do the eyes. So yeah, happy with the eyes. So I'm just going to give it a top coat varnish to the hair, and it should be done. Hey, so we're finally finished. Luke in Dagobah training outfit, vintage Kenner Star Wars custom. Really happy with the final outcome. Really gave up on it a few times, as I normally do when I'm making something. I always get a problem, but I overcome it in the end. Persistence is always key when you're doing your own arts and crafts projects, whatever they may be. But I'm really happy with the colours. But yeah, there he is, the final outcome. I gave it another gloss of satin varnish. Yeah. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I should put on a little rotating thing now so you can see it in 360. And here he is placed in his backpack, which was found in the vintage Dagobah playset. And that's how it's going to be displayed here at Poncho's Toy Box. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the creation process of me making this figure and the journey that it took me on. Yeah, so click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make some comments. Feedback is always appreciated. Do you like the figure? Let me know. Yeah, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Master Skywalker. Oh, look smart in your Dagobah training outfit you do. Pancho do good job. Yeah. Train we must now. Hop in your backpack, I will, and learn the ways of the Force. If like channel, like and subscribe, you must.